Welcome to Mucho TV, where we learn from one another and grow. My name is Janvier Nahimana, Canada for Africa Media Advisor. My co-host today is Abdullahi, Halifax African Young Professionals co-founder, and our guest, Marc Njoh, a lawyer. The conversation today is about networking and mentorship. Welcome all to Mucho TV. Over to you, Barry.
Mark, first of all, thank you for joining us today, and sincere apology for the delay. It's a great honor to have you on board, and also I see you and Janvier already had some great conversation regarding Canada for Africa, which is really where the future is, right? And this for me this tie down really to into the work that we're doing within the Halifax African young professional. And the whole idea is, when you look at it as an immigrant, you come here with no family, and and you persevere. You go to school, you graduate. So how do you create that level of connection with with the members of the community, young professional like yourself, and also others that have various background and have a diversity of knowledge that you can all bring in one table to conversate. So we created the Halifax African Young Professional to really attract professional. Have a platform where people can share their ideas, where people can feel connected. But most importantly, the whole concept of mentorship. Because when we look at it, we all say in this life, there's always somebody who has made an impact on yourself, whether you're aware of it or whether you're not aware of it, right? And there's this a gentleman that I listened to yesterday. I was like, if you want to look further, you have to be on the shoulders of somebody else. As a result of that, when you really think about it, the approach is, first of all, we're all learners by nature. And in order for you to develop a strong mentorship, you want to be first open to the ability of having that mindset, in that agile mindset, that you can help others grow their potential by just sharing your knowledge. And today, looking at Marc, Marc and I have been friends, family for a very long time, and Marc has achieved a tremendous success throughout your life, your life journey, having a family, having a great career, going to school, just establishing yourself. And as a mentor, I personally look at you as a mentor, as my mentor. Whether it is from having a friendly conversation about matters impacting my personal life, or or the general community issues that we hear. We converse, we share different ideas and perspective. I'm learning a lot from you, and I think there's a huge opportunity where we can create this platform where we can have a great conversation and have an audience of of a youth, or young professional talent that probably can learn from us, can learn from the success that we have had within our career. They can learn from our failure. That's which I think that's what people usually often don't like to talk about, is their failure. But yet your failure is really the key to your success. So
Yeah.
Marc,
Sorry.
no, I was gonna say, Marc, it's an honor to have you, and I wanted to start off by really, you know, for you to talk a little bit about yourself. Talk a little bit about just you, your background. How you were able to to navigate through the system here to really be successful at this level, and also probably talk a little bit about what inspired you throughout your journey.
Yeah. You're right. Thank you for having me. I think this is really great. It's an honor. I know Janvier personally. I know you personally. We've worked on a lot of different things in the past, some casual, some just for our own benefit. But I think it's great that we're starting to coalesce and bring together our collective talent, because for a long time that's something that's been missing in this province. I would say those of us of African descent, those of us immigrants, coming to build something for ourselves, right? To build something for ourselves. So I'm really grateful to you for this opportunity and to Janvier. Talking about mentorship, yeah, mentorship is a very, very important concept. I myself got exposed more to that concept being here in Canada. I mean, growing up in Africa, your mentors are your parents, your aunts, your uncles, the people that that tell you something and you listen to. So that's the perspective that we had. But here, it's a whole different new concept. It's about knowledge transfer, encouragement, somebody that you can confide in that moment when you're failing at something, and you need that person to talk to who can, from an objective standpoint, give you some direction on where to go. And mentorship can become friendship. I have a lot of mentors that are my friends, and they will always joke with me and say, "Hey, you know what? When I say, oh, they're my mentor," they'll say, "No, like, we started out and then now we're friends, and I feel like, I can't, tell you certain things." But I still say, no, it's part of it. There are some mentorship relationships that stay professional that way and don't devolve into friendship. And there are others that evolve into a friendship, but the mentorship component is still there. In fact, one of my mentors actually told me that, mentorship is really from the perspective of the mentee, right? Because they said, it is all about what the mentee wants out of the relationship. So when you identify somebody and you say, I could learn from this person, they could be a mentor, then it's more about how you engage them to tap into what you think would help you grow, right? So it's a really big concept. I enjoy it. I try to do as much as I can in terms of mentorship, because I know the value, I know how it's impacted my own life. And I think as young professionals, African professionals, it is incumbent on us to do that and lift up our people. Just a little bit about myself. The stories are vast. If people want, I'm writing a book on it, and I'll tell people to go read it. But I grew up in the country called Cameroon, and obviously, I'm the eldest kid in a family of 6. So from a very young age, you have that responsibility put on you, right? Growing up in a traditional African home, as the eldest, you definitely have to bring your siblings along. And not just your siblings, there are all sorts of cousins, nephews, nieces, people who just look up to you as the eldest. You're the leader. They want to follow your footsteps. If you choose a certain vocation, it inspires other people in the family to want to do that vocation. And so growing up, I really wanted to be, just because of the context of how I grew up, I thought I was going to be a priest, you know, and then I did all the things in that line. I was an altar server, a mass boy. I was very close to my parish priest. In fact, there were times when I used to get out of school and he would take me around to go help with the work, like do outreach and ministry. And then eventually I had the chance to encounter, the main opposition leader in my country, because he had come to do a campaign and my parents were very involved in that. So I had a chance to meet him, and he said something that stayed with me. He said, this fight we're fighting, it's for you, you people. You people are going to be the ones that are going to, see this to the logical conclusion. We are just doing our part. And that left in me the impression that, we all have a role. We each have a role to play. in the general good, in advancing the general good. And so since then, I've always tried to do my part, play my own role. Whatever that role is, I try to identify it and ensure that I play it. So that is how, I develop my motivations and my spirit of determination, which I bring into. You talked about, a little bit about my success and thriving at this level. It's all of those little things, that you develop at an early age. You go through, primary school, high school, build those habits. They start to pay off at this time when, you're trying to focus on a career, what you want to do, you want to achieve something in that life. Those are the things that help push you forward, right? So I don't want to talk. There's a lot of stories. I could talk about a lot of stories about my background, but I'm just trying to gauge where you want me to take this. So I'll leave it at that. But if you ask me, to talk about a specific area as it relates to my background, I would do it.
I think Marc, you share enough there, and one thing that really resonated for me is when you talked about, from a family perspective, as the firstborn in your family, you're already a mentor without knowing. So, the nature of that growth and having siblings looking up to you, every decision you make is feeling like calculated, but without knowing. But now that we are in a stage in our life where we're so self-aware and conscious about the actions that we take and how it can impact the people around you. From a mentorship perspective, how can you probably talk about the importance of really having a professional mentorship, and in your experience, possibly have you benefited from a mentor to mentee relationship, and what did that look like for you?
Now, I didn't end up following the route of becoming a priest. I eventually, decided that to make the impact that I wanted, I thought I should practice law. And I was huge into debate, and a lot of people, one of them being my debate coach, told me that you'd make a good lawyer, and that inspired me into that field. So I started to study law, and right from then, when I decided that I wanted to study law, I identified somebody who would mentor me. In fact, one of my father's friends was a lawyer, so I spent some time with him, just casually. I wasn't even in university, but I'd go to his firm and just sit around and see what's going on there and ask questions. So fast forward to today, when I eventually went to law school, I was in first year law, but I had a third year law student who was like my mentor, who was like we call them upper year body, just like, so they'd ask questions, they'd help me, but it was largely driven by me as the mentee. I'd be the one who would reach out and say, hey, do you have time? Do you want to meet? Then they'd say, okay, I can meet here and there. We meet. I have questions that I wanted to ask. And when I was done my questions, we'll just have a casual conversation about life, right? So I was getting the book, I was getting their perspective on life, but I was also focused on what I wanted that mentor relationship to be. So it was all left to me. I would set the times, I would reach out, I would say meetings, they'd reach out sometimes, understanding that mentors are also busy. These folks also have their own careers and their own lives. So you have to engage them, and then they will engage. And then, sometimes it doesn't work out. We shouldn't forget that. Sometimes mentor-mentee relationships don't work out. Sometimes it does. You got to identify the right mentor, right? So that's where you have to have that discernment. If you engage somebody and, you see that it's not going in the direction that you wanted to go, you have to summon the courage to have a conversation with them. Very nice. And you say, what, you're somebody that I respect and I look up to, but in terms of this specific relationship of mentorship, I don't think that it's going in the direction that I anticipated. So, I'm exploring other options. You may want to have that talk. You may decide not to have it and just, let it be for what it is. You can have multiple mentors. I had multiple mentors. In fact, when I was in law school, I had my upper year buddy who was my mentor. I had a mentor who was a partner at a law firm, a senior law firm in Halifax. Then I had another mentor who was just a family friend, but who had done a lot. He's also a lawyer who had written books, done a lot. So I tapped from all these different people, but I went to them for different values, right? So I'd go to my other mentor, I talk to him about certain things. My upper year buddy, who was still in law school, he would have a different perspective. I'd go to my other mentor, at the firm, and it'd be so. I try to get all the knowledge that I could, and I maintain different relationships. My mentor at law school was still friends till today. My family friend mentor, we talk casually every now and then. The other mentor from the law firm, I think we probably haven't spoken since I graduated law school, right? So the relationships evolve, the mentorship evolves, and your needs as a mentee evolve also, and you continue to tap onto new mentors. Now that I'm engaging in the field of communication and trying to do a show and run a broadcast media, I have other mentors for that purpose, right? People that I go to learn from and to hear their perspectives. So it's really a unique concept, and it is really up to the mentee what they want to get out of the relationship.
So now I would like to learn about Abdullahi, who you are and how do you connected with the mentorship.
I always, my first answer to who I am, I always like to say I'm a brother, and I'm the eldest of four in my family, and I'm a I'm a manager. I'm a leader, by professionally, and I'm a learner by nature. That's I would say uh, that's who I am, and the concept of mentorship, like Mark shared, is something that first of all you get exposed to without even knowing that you're actually exposed to that level. Whether it is through the people that you hang out with because you like what they're doing, you like their ambition, or or they have similar goals to you, and you're always looking up to somebody without even formally knowing that's the mentor, that's a level of mentorship. Then throughout my career, I would say I was really involved into developing talent. You see people really naturally coming to you, asking you for advice out of, out of nowhere, right? Without even having that level of, without having that level of relationship. Then you realize, okay, you know what, you actually have something to share, and there's a audience of individuals that that value the different perspective that you bring to the table. I would say I've also had a formal mentor to mentee relationship where I was actually both a mentor and a mentee, and I would like to echo pretty much what Mark said. It's really mentee driven. It's about really, what are you looking to get out of that relationship? Because mentors are absolutely busy. So it's really about, okay, where do I see myself, for my next career, or pretty much what do I want to learn from somebody? And I think that's a huge key component, and it doesn't matter whether it is only through my professional career, but let's say if I want to learn Photoshop, who do I need to? Who do I associate with that have that level of skill set? That I'm passionate about and interested to follow. So today when we look at it, as a, I would say as an African, young man professional, like you don't hear that that level of mentorship happening within our community, because probably, we don't understand the concept, or the value of it. So it's about, for me, how do I, you know, meet people that, that have something that I want, that will help me to gravitate, towards the skill set that they have, that I'm really, that I want to develop. Because at the end of the day, for me, that's really what that mentorship piece is about. Continuous learning. How do you, have that level in your mindset? That just that openness to just learn so many things from different people. Like Mark said, how he has relations. You're able to build a relationship with, with mentors, and having discussion about five different things, that are happening, in the stage of your life. So I think, for me, the exposure of the mentorship really has allowed me to, to always be open to learning, and not shying away from, from being outside of my comfort, really outside of my comfort zone, and really be curious. That curiosity level that's gonna drive me to be like, Mark, hey, talk to me about a little bit about your job. What you do as a lawyer. I mean, you never know. I have a sibling who aspired to be a lawyer. Now I know, I have people who I know who are lawyers. So it's about, how do I create that platform, for my sibling, or anybody who aspires to be a lawyer, to make sure that they are, they have that contact, with a lawyer who is able to share their experience. And at the end of the day, it's really just about having a better guidance.
I have a story to share. It's about also the community that we want to serve as a mentor. But sometimes, as you say, you don't know that what you are doing is inspiring someone. I remember I was in Belgium, and we started a magazine for diaspora, and I get a funding from European Commission to support social media in Africa. I went to spend 6 months in my country, Burundi. I started just to organize some youngs they were working in media, radio, TV. I teach them graphic design, web design, and when I see now how they are professional, either they are better than me now. They build media, they are design, communication, marketing, and I feel that I didn't believe that at that time I was doing mentorship, but the mentees, they were there, they were young, need just to learn. They were hunger to get someone who can give them a view for professional tools that it can help them in the future. So as you say, that mentorship is really important. And sometimes as you are doing something you love, you share. Every time, I know that I get a time to be in collaboration with you, Abdullahi, and every time I know that I'm not a good speaker. I know that we have public speaking skills. It's something that we can learn and it can save you, but sometimes we don't know who will be your mentor. It's just to get a time to listen you to speaking. I know Marc, when he was working with the African Diaspora Association, he was on a board team, and to see someone who devoted his time to serve a community, it's important. Also, it's about leadership. So I think that's the most important now, is to find how we can organize these African young professionals, to find mentors who can give their time to teach others, and also connect mentees. So we have connections in our community, in different organizations, and we need now to use our technology skills, because we know during the COVID time we not organize meeting in the big rooms, all this, But we have now skills. We can connect via Zoom and get a time to speak about lawyers. You know, my son, he's graduating from secondary school. Sometimes they don't know what their choice they will have to start their university. They don't know lawyer. They see maybe they fear your lawyers because it's about court and all this. They don't know how it's really inspiring to be a lawyer, and there are different areas. So we can organize maybe a show about that, and we invite families to bring their young who graduated to understand how they can make a show a choice to be a lawyer, to start investing in law course. So I think that it's important now to start to connect, and we have many African skills in different areas, but we need to be united and try to connect together a pool where we can fund those people and organize connections. That's one of the idea.
Janvier, thank you definitely for echoing that, the point really in the community, because I mean, like right now, if you look at the community in which we live in, and, and serve, like for me personally, I always ask myself, what can I do to make an impact? What can I do, to ensure that somebody that, that has similar career ambition as me, who hasn't yet gotten through the door, to be better prepared, right? To come into the door and even have more success that I had. Like Janvier, as you shared your story, how, kids that you initially thought, taught how to do digital, or, your expertise. Now they're better than you. And that's what we want. I want somebody to really be better than me that I can potentially one day look up to. But the most gratifying thing is how you're like, oh, I actually made an impact in this person's life. And when we look at, our African community, in general, is, for me, I'm having a really a challenge to connect with others in terms of where are they, and that's what we really want. We want people that look like us, because we know that they are great individuals that have great career growth, that could be amazing mentors in various disciplines in this life. So the question is, how can we connect? How can we engage together, both as a mentor and also identify mentees who are interested, in joining, our platform to really benefit, because it's really a mutual interaction here, that we're looking to achieve. Everybody is gonna benefit from a mentor and mentee relationship. Marc, one thing I want to ask you is, in your opinion, what do you think we have this lack of visibility, I must say, of African descent within the community who want to really engage in this level of conversation?
Yeah, that's a good question. And Janvier, thanks for echoing the points about the community. That is an elusive question. That as somebody who thinks deeply about community and how we can build a stronger community, I continuously ask myself that question too. Why is there? Why is it that there is only few among the many that are engaged and want to continue to engage? Let me use a little example. If we threw a party, and invited a bunch of our brothers and sisters, immigrants, they'll be there, right? We have this concept around community that is built around celebration, celebration and enjoyment. And maybe it is because of the place where we spend the most of our, teenage lives growing up. There is we come from communities that celebrate a lot. We celebrate death, we celebrate birth, we celebrate, every little thing we come together to celebrate. But one of the things that I realized was missing is that in that structure, we really didn't have those mechanisms where we come to celebrate achievement. We come to celebrate learning. We were compelled to go to school. We didn't go to school because it wasn't a free will. We were compelled to go to school. And when you go to school, you were trying to have a good report card to please the people who sent you to school. It wasn't that, I'm trying to do this for myself. So as we grow, our perspective have changed, where we are now seeing ourselves as, I got to do this for myself, because when I feel good about my accomplishments, I feel confident, I feel positive about life, and I can radiate that outwards. But then you come into a society like this, which is already very competitive by the nature of the way the society is designed. And you will know a little bit more about this because, you studied psychology and all of that. But then we find ourselves here, and it seems that we go the route of competing with each other, right? And so because of that, I feel that a lot of people say, you know what, I've achieved what I want to achieve in my career. I'm settled. I'm fine. Why do I want to put myself out there, to just, maybe people are not going to value, or what am I competing for? So a lot of people just sit back and remain reserved and do their own things and just live their lives. It is only the few of us who are community centered, who are motivated, who are saying, yeah, I achieved all of this, but you know what? There is more that we can do. We can lift the other people up. What can we do for our community? There's very few of those people like us who are out here trying to engage, trying to start things like Janvier was saying, serving on boards, trying to create community, saying, let's collaborate, let's do this. And it is more of these kinds of platforms that bring out that concept of mentorship. When somebody says, Marc, Janvier, and Ablo were sitting down talking about mentorship, talking about collaborating, creating a broadcast media channel and all of that, then they say, I want to learn from those guys. I want to know what these guys are about. But we need to put it out there so people see that we are actually working on it. You don't see a lot of collaborative efforts between immigrants. You maybe see collaboration between immigrants and, some of the more established people here. But the only reason that happens most of the time is because there are those gaps of inclusion. They want that visibility. So it's more easier to make that kind of collaboration. But when we see ourselves, we need to find the value in the three of us sitting here talking. If the people who are watching are going to say, wow, look at these guys. They're talking about ideas. They're sitting there and they are thinking big. So I want to be a part of that. And it motivates people to want to join. So I think that's the reason people are so scared to put themselves out there, right? First of all, we live in a very harsh country. The Western, a little mistake could be on social media. There's just so many things people don't want to risk. So they take the path of, I'll achieve what I achieve and I'll just live my life, the rest in bliss. Those of us who want to take risks, who want to put ourselves out there, even if it's for community, not necessarily ourselves, we are the ones that have to champion and bring these people in. And there are a lot of people that will do things in the background. Like Janvier was saying. Janvier said, I got the technical know-how. If we want to do this, you know what? There are times when I can sit in the background and do the technical know-how and let you guys do that. You don't hear a lot of people with those kinds of ideas. When people want to be part of something, sometimes they want to be there at the forefront of it. It's either they're at the forefront or no, right? And then you have the folks who are like, I'll just watch and see what's happening. So we got to find a way to engage all these people. And the way you engage them is to find, again, I go back to the roles. What can you do? It's not, nobody's asking you to do something that's outside of your capacity level. The little that you contribute is not small. Even if your role, let's just take for example here, was just to sit behind a computer and ensure that when I'm talking, the spotlight is on my face, that is a very important role, right? But people, we have to be able to articulate to people that the little that you contribute is valuable. So don't be scared to come out and open up. I'll just end with this. We have an organization called the Black Canadian Black Lawyers Association, right? It's Canada wide. We have a Nova Scotia branch. We had a meeting the other day, and they were brainstorming about a work plan and what we want to do and all of that. And I'm saying to my colleagues, I say, um, there's a lot that we can do within the context of Nova Scotia, but we should start thinking outside the box. Let's think about how we can be impactful at the international level too. Let's think about what we can do in the continent. But you need to put those things out there, and then people are going to pick up on it, right? And be able to say, I want to do this. Then I went further. I reached out to the team. I said, what can I do? I said, I know you're already a team. You put together this stuff. What can where do you see me helping out, serving this team? Right? And then they sent me back something saying, hey, look at all these different roles we have. Look at them, see where you want to play a role. So that is how we get people engaged in this sort of work.
So, Marc, we are active on media. So the most important, it's a conversation like we are doing today. It's important just people, we're going to share via our social media how we are engaged. We are 3 today. Maybe next week we can be 6. So if we can start as we are now engaged, and each on his side, it can be anyone. It can be someone who is in construction, someone who is in shipbuilding, someone who is a manager who design programs. We know people, different people in our community that they have skills. If we can start slowly, just engage some people to come to share their experience and to be engaged, to be mentored, there will be a need in our community. But most of time, we think globally. We think, oh, we African, we don't like to share. Let's just remove this idea for globalization and think to people who are engaged, who can say, I'm on board now, and put me on the list. And we will try to design our website. We have the website for African young professionals, and start to get a list of mentors. And also via our social media, get this form that mentees can register. It can be a parent who is curious for the son who will start the school, and he can be a mentee. He come to approach you to say, Marc, I would like just my son is interested to be a lawyer. What the course he need to be good in to approach to be accepted to be a lawyer. There are that's conversation, a small conversation that can come, but we need to get a list for people who are engaged. So via your social media, via your LinkedIn, Abdullahi, via my connection, let's try just to engage a conversation and organize a show like this. It can be just a small 5-10 minutes that the mentor can say, really, that's what I can give back to my community. And we can try just to organize maybe talks based on the skills that we have, like a lawyer, like managing leadership, all this. But we need now to start to connect with people who may be engaged and be mentors to our network. Abdullahi, I think that's you really we get a time to think about that for a long time. We need not to act. 2021 just to start this network slowly?
Action. I like that, Janvier, because that's one of the things that I've tried a lot of things out here. And one of the things that I've learned from trying so many things is that too often we talk about bright ideas, and then very few times we stand up and take it and put it in place. And I've developed a mentality or a mindset around this. For me, is that when I think it, I get it. You get it going. In my book that I wrote, I wrote something there. You have to be shameless. If you want to succeed, you have to be shameless. Shamelessness has to be part of your mental build-up, because you're going to do things that people are going to look at you and say, why is this person doing this? You could just be happy with where they are. But it is only you who know the value of the idea that you want to bring to life. And if you don't plant that seed and water it to grow, you can keep thinking of that idea of a tree. So 2021 should be the year of action. We have these ideas, let's put it down, let's get it going, and it's going to grow. Rome was not built in a day. It's going to germinate. There's going to be challenges, but once you add it, once you keep at it, it's going to continue to become beautiful in all its fullness.
Marc, remember my dream I had when I was at Adam, to bring the Burundi drums to Halifax. It was a really crazy idea.
Right.
But slowly we worked together with the board, and the Burundi drums came from Burundi to Halifax. And Marc, he was I was your mentor. Learning how to drum Burundi drums, remember?
Yes.
And Godfred, he performed at the Gala.
Yes.
He's not from Burundi. But I was his mentor. I taught him how to learn to drum and to perform a show. So it's why I tell you, we have different skills. We can learn different. Even my wife, she's a cook. Sometimes I'm sitting there to help her to know how to make cakes. It's a mental way that we can learn something. So I think that we have a different opportunity. Let's start. So I think that's Abdullahi. What we are doing that today is important, and just keep it going, because we have think about that 2020. We couldn't make a step. Now let's think about 2021.
I mean, definitely 2021 is the year of action that we all say. I think today is a true testament about the engagement that all three of us really have, and want to carry the momentum forward. And as both of you have shared, is how do we? The big question is, how do we engage? Our connection, or the people that we know, to really see value on the things that we're actually doing, right? So, we can always go out there, look at people who share who share similar vision, and invite them. Maybe next time we'll have 4 people. The next event is gonna be 5 people, and just conversate. I think right now it's very important for us to get to know each other. I think we're missing that part, right? We want to achieve so many things, discuss about so many great, topics, that are going to make an impact on people's life. But we forget about that connection between us. What connects us? Why are we here? Who are we? Why do we see this, as an important, platform that's going to elevate the future of the young generation, right? So, for me, I'm fully on board, and any time, of course, we can set a plan for the next meeting. Hopefully, next meeting, let's find someone from our network, invite them, and just have a conversation. That's 4 of us, right? And then, we build the momentum going forward. And always try to invite at least one person. I think that strategy is going to help also increase the visibility, because that one person is going to go talk to his friend and then bring another person, right? I mean, we're going to have a multi a multi like a
Multiplying
multiply
effect.
effort.
Yes.
Exactly, like a multiplying effect, right? And I think that's going to help us grow tremendously.
Yeah, I really like what we're saying, and that we're determined to put it into action because we're action people. So, yes, it's through social media, through in person. I find in person talks very effective. You talk to people. The other thing that I've been thinking about lately is we need to find things that engage people, right?
Hmm.
That are not necessarily directly tied to this. But for example, and I'm going to invite you to. I was thinking, and I talked to a few people to do a webinar on men's health. Just men's health,
Hmm.
something like that. Get a bunch of the boys. Let's talk. Those are things that we don't talk about. That I had a very deep
Hmm.
conversation the other day with a couple of one my brother-in-law and another friend, just about our health as men. And I
Hmm.
learned so much. And when I left
Hmm.
that conversation, I
Hmm.
made some conscious decisions about how I wanted to continue to improve my health. But as
Hmm.
a tangent to that, I started talking to them about collaboration on other things, right?
Hmm.
And they were very receptive. So we need to find those things that people are interested in, and
Hmm.
and rally them around that, but then also point to all these other bright ideas and things that we can be doing, and saying, hey, we're here talking about food, or we're here talking about dance, or we're here talking about men's health. But hey, by the way, we need you to be a mentor, because you have these great ideas, and you may not see, because people are shy. People are shy to acknowledge. I like that when Ablo started, he said, who am I? He said, I'm a leader, I'm a brother. People are shy to talk about their capacity, what they have.
Hmm.
So sometimes you find a way to say, hey, look, I know you're a good speaker, or I know, you're good at this. So why don't you be a mentor?
I really like that approach because I think finding the topic that people are interested about is going to be easy gravitation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Than sitting down to talk about probably a complex, a topic that really people don't want to talk about, or maybe
Right.
they're not comfortable or it's not your expertise. And I think also, as we look at this, we should have like a very open mindset that not everybody is expert into the things that they're doing, right? Even for us, we're learning from each other
Mm-hmm.
that we inviting, on the, as a guest, right? Because we want to also get a good story of the person that we have in a conversation with, not only what they're good at, right? Because it's sometimes it's hard to talk about what you're good at. I always like to say the people around you are your mirror. It's like, if we were living in the world without mirror, how would you, like, you wouldn't see yourself, right? The competent, the skill, what you think you're good at, or the challenges that you face, you don't see them. Only the people around you see them, right? So we can talk about things that are outside your level of expertise. Maybe a journey that you had that really gave you that mental awareness, or like Marc, about mental health is huge right now. And for us within our community, it's a stigma. We don't talk about it.
We don't.
We don't talk about mental health, right? Um, so I think this is definitely a great step. I think now it's about how do we build content, right, going forward to make it more um, structured, so it doesn't we have a timeline, right? Like we have a timeline on, okay, how long we want this session to go, you know what topic we want to discuss, what are some of the questions that we're going to ask, just to be better prepared to have a fluid conversation that we'll be able to record and actually share within our social media platform, so that when somebody go there, they click on on the video that we just posted, this great content that we put in. And I think that's gonna, create that attraction also to be like, oh, who are these people? I want to join that, or how do I join that conversation next time, right?
Right. The other thing I would add is you're absolutely right. And that is why, this idea we have of broadcast social media is going to be really big, because part of the thing is that our communities have been cut out of the of putting our ideas out there because we don't have access to the media. Radio, TV, it's all corporate stuff, right? The people that are paying the big bucks. So with this, we have a lot of flexibility because we can do content that is not necessarily geared towards this mentorship. But what it does is we get credibility. People say, I trust these guys. These guys are my go-to people for information on this. So once people already have that connection to you, then it's easier if you tell them, hey, by the way, we're having a mentorship meeting here and we're looking for people. People already have a buy-in. They might not know what the idea around the mentorship is, but they trust you because when they come and listen to us talk about things that are going on in Africa, talk about our immigrant experiences, they are like, oh, these people, these guys are inspiring me. So that's why we need to create this platform, where we attract people because they might come to my platform because of the kinds of things I talk about there. They might come to Janvier's platform because of the kind of things. So think about if we collaborate this and you have one big platform where you can tap into any different content. Then we come out and say, by the way, we're doing a mentorship program on this and this and this, and this is how it's structured. I bet you we would be turning people away. We would be saying, look, what capacity?
My guest for the show last week, who was the MP Toronto and the advisor for the Minister for Foreign Affairs, I asked that question, and he said, what do we have as information here in Canada? They are just negative image of Africa. It's only bad news, what happened. But people or businessmen who want to invest in Africa, they need to invest in an area, a dynamic area. It's up to us to showcase this dynamic area in Africa, to speak also about what is positive in Africa. We know there is political issues are there, but we need to showcase all those potential opportunities for businessmen from Canada to invest in Africa. And it will be up to us to connect, to tell stories, to connect with people in Africa. That's going to be really get audience. I believe in that because most of the information we have is just political issue, and it's a negative image of Africa. And that if we start a new media and showcase what is dynamic in Africa, it's going to be really a huge change.
Yeah, we need to tell our stories more. We are the only people who can tell our stories, right? And if we tell our stories in a way to attract, it would attract. If we tell our stories in a way that it repels people, it will repel people, right? This society is very fast. It's hard to keep people's attention, right, on any one thing. So we have to tell our stories in a compelling manner so that people want to know more. They want to travel. Every time I sit down with folks and talk about home, they want to go with me. They're like, can we book a trip? Like, when next, right? But if you leave it up to them, if you're just making posts on social media, and I've had people that have asked, certain things, and they say, man, I turned this off by, the fifth minute, I was, so it's not compelling, and people want the quick. 2 minute, what is it about? Let me know. And then they are engaged or they are not engaged. And the other thing is that there's a lot of content. The pandemic has created an environment now where a lot of content is being generated. Did you know? I'm sure you know this, but they said that the humans generated the content generated this year alone surpassed the content, that's the electronic content that over the last, I think they said the last 100 years or something. That is why people like Google are saying, you know what, we're limiting our storage. You know, now we gotta delete stuff, and so think of that. So there's competition. So we gotta think about how do we navigate that unique space so that we are attracting the partners that we want, but we're also putting out, you know, our information broadly.
Okay, I think that yes, it was a needed meeting that we are organizing today.
Sounds like a plan, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today. It was great to see all of you on this.
Yeah.
This is the action, right? This is
This
the
is,
action.
yeah, yeah, this is it.
So
We're in
let's
it.
keep the momentum going. So have a
Okay.
fantastic rest of the day.